everyone, welcome to Kriti Tutorials. Now today we are going to do a very important topic. As you all can see, it's rationalization and it's a very important topic in mathematics. Right? So those of you are not clear with this, definitely after seeing this topic, you all will be able to rationalize and you will be able to understand the meaning of rationalization. Now here we are going to give you step-by-step solution. Rationalization is a concept which is very important for all the standards and we have in all the boards, right? So let's take up that. Now let's start with the questions for the same. Now here we have question 1, that is root 3 minus root 2 upon root 3 plus root 2. अभी थोड़ा सा स्टार्टिंग में ये समझते हैं कि रैशनलाइजेशन होता क्या है. नाउ रैशनलाइजेशन क्या है, आपका जो डिनोमिनेटर है वो इर्रेशनल नंबर दिख रहा है. अभी देखिए रूट 3 प्लस रूट 3 भी इर्रेशनल है, रूट 2 भी इर्रेशनल है. So both are going to make it irrational. Now the point is we have to make the denominator rational always. Yes, that's why this topic is important. आपका कभी भी कोई भी आंसर अगर आ रहा है जिसमें डिनोमिनेटर irrational है, always you have to make it rational and then only you will get the full mark, right? So now the point is to remove root 3 plus root 2 from the denominator and we have to make it a whole number. We have to make it a rational number, not the irrational number. Right, now let's try it. So now here we have root 3 plus root 2. Now we know that root a plus root a into root a is a, correct? Now if we have root 3 into root 3, correct, it will become what? 3. If we have root 2 into root 2, it will become what? 2. So this is what we have. So let us try to think ki what shall we do here so that we get the squares of root 3 and root 2. So if you just imagine there is an identity which is a plus b into a minus b, which makes it a square minus b square. Right? This identity you all know. So now if I could multiply this root 3 plus root 2 with opposite sign, that is here we have plus sign and we can multiply it by minus sign, then we can get the squares, correct? Clear? So that's the point. So here we can get the squares in that way. Correct? So now let us multiply and think. So for multiplying and thinking, what shall we do? We shall think of the number, right? So what shall we do? We need the squares of root 3 and root 2. So as I just said, a plus b, a minus b is a square minus b square. Now let's work it out on that. So let's try to do it. So now if I have to multiply the, what do we say, denominator, then I will have to multiply the numerator also, right? So operation has to be applied in both numerator as well as denominator. Now if I have to multiply, why we are multiplying with opposite sign? Because we need the square. So we are going to apply always the identity a plus b, a minus b is equal to a square minus b square in the denominator. That is why this is important to note. तो जब भी आपको rationalize करना है, याद रखिए you have to use this identity in the denominator. I am not talking about numerator. सिर्फ डिनोमिनेटर के लिए याद रखिए. क्यों यूज करना है आइडेंटिटी, कोई आपसे पूछता है, बिकॉज वी नीड द स्क्वायर्स so that individual number के squares can never be irrational. Correct? Now let's work it out. So what do you have in the numerator? Root 3 minus root 2 two times. Okay? And here we will get the identity now. Root 3 square minus root 2 square. Correct? Now in the numerator, in this particular question now, we can use two methods, right? Either we multiply binomial by binomial as we can see, or either we use the identity. We can also use the identity of a minus b whole square because the two terms in the numerator, they are same, correct? So if we use this identity, what do we get? Root 3 square plus root 2 square minus 2 root 6. Now here we get only 3 minus 2. So denominator has become very simple now. Correct? So what do you get? 3 plus 2 minus 2 root 6 upon 1. So what's your answer? 5 minus 2 root 6. Correct? So this is what the correct answer is. Right? So this is what we know about rationalization. So we will be taking few important questions related to this so that you will never forget the rationalization. These questions we have taken from R.D. Sharma, right? So all of you can find the solution for the exercise. We'll be solving the questions for the R.D. Sharma, right? And they are important for your exams also, because if you do these questions, you will definitely be able to do the questions in exam 100%, right? So 7 minus 4 root 3 लेंगे यहाँ पे, because we need to make it rational. So opposite sign. Okay, I told you the reason, that we need the square of the individual terms. Now here we have different terms in the numerator. So if we have different terms in the numerator, we have to simply multiply, no use of identity. But in the denominator, you have again the same identity. A square minus b square is a plus b, a minus b. Now let's multiply it carefully. So 5 has to be multiplied with both the terms. Students, remember in these questions, mostly जो common error होता है वो होता है plus minus signs. Okay. Now who will tell me what's the square of 4 root 3? So 4 root 3 का square, 4 root 3 into 4 root 3. Let's do it. Okay. Now 4 into 4 is 16. Root 3 into root 3 is 3. So what is it? 48. Right? So 48. Now 5 sevens are 35 minus 20 root 3 plus 14 root 3 minus, now 4 twos are 8, 8 threes are 24. This is what we get. So just move step by step. This is one. Clear? Now let's do it. Constant term with constant term. So 35 minus 24. We get here what? 11. Minus 20 plus 14. Minus 6 root 3. That's your answer. Just remember plus minus signs, multiply it carefully when you are multiplying with the monomials. And remember, in the denominator, always one identity is to be used, that is a plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. Now let's move on to the next. So now what do we have? We have the next question. Now here we have 3 minus 2 root 2 in the denominator. Okay, so 1 plus root 2 is in the numerator and 3 minus 2 root 2 is in the denominator. Okay, now so we will multiply it by 3 plus 2 root 2. Now let's multiply and check. So 1 plus root 2, 3 plus 2 root 2. So here we have 3 square minus 2 root 2 ka whole square, right? So now let's make it. So 1 into 3 plus 2 root 2 plus root 2, 3 plus 2 root 2. So here we get 9. Now what is the 2 root 2 ka square? Again the same way as we did in the previous question. Now here we will have 2 into 2, 4 and root 2 into root 2, 2. So what will be the answer? 8. Correct? So now let's write it 9 minus 8. It's not like that in every question we are going to get the denominator 1, students. Okay, don't assume it. These are the few questions in which we are getting 1, not always. Okay, now let's multiply 1 with 3 root plus 2 root 2. And now root 2 with 3 and 2 root 2 with 2. So that becomes 4. So 9 minus 8 is 1. So 3 plus 4, 7. 7 plus 5 root 2 is the answer. Right? So once you understand it, these questions are very simple. And remember, these are to be used everywhere in mathematics. If you leave your answer in irrational, you are not going to get the full mark. Remember. So the next question is 2 root 6 minus root 5 upon 3 root 5 minus 2 root 6. Now let's rationalize it. So we see that in the denominator we have 3 root 5 minus 2 root 6. Now we will rationalize it with opposite sign, that is 3 root 5 plus 2 root 6, right? So now we have to use the identity again for the denominator, that is a plus b, a minus b is a square minus b square, right? So this is very important and it's going to be used for all the questions of rationalization. So we get here 3 root 5 the whole square minus 2 root 6 the whole square. Now 2 root 6 has to be multiplied with 3 root 5 plus 2 root 6, and root 5 has to be multiplied with 3 root 5 plus 2 root 6. Now do it carefully. So we get here 6 root 30 plus 4 root 6 into root 6. We can directly write, instead of root 36, we can directly write 6. Then we have 3 into 5, that is 15. And then minus plus minus, this is important. So 2 root 30. And here what we will get? 3 threes are 9. So 3 root 5 into 3 root 5. What will you get? 9 into 5, that is 45. Same way 2 root 6 into 2 root 6. What will you get? 4 into 6, that is 24. So you can see in this question that in this question we are not getting 1 in the denominator. In the previous question we were getting 1, right? So there is no rule like that we are going to get 1 always. Now 6 root 30 minus 4, 2 root 30 is 4 root 30. Now 24 minus 15, we get 9. So 45 minus 24, we get 21. So that's our final answer, right? So we just have to take care of plus minus sign because here we had minus root 5. So it will be minus root 5 into 3 root 5, that is minus 3 into 5, and minus plus is minus, so it will be 2 root 30 if you multiply minus root 5 into 2 root 6, right? So let's move on to the next. Now here again we see that the denominator has very large numbers. Now for moving such, first we have to check can it be simplified or not to make our calculations on easy note. Now if we just check root 48, root 48, what will be the factors for 48? 4 into 4 into 3. So 4 4s are 16, 16 3s are 48. So now what you have 4 root 3, that is what we can write the simplified form. Similarly for root 18, what can we write? 3 into 3 into 2. So what will be the simplified form? 3 root 2. So we will substitute these values in place of the big square root numbers to make our calculations on an easy note. Now let's rewrite this question for this. 4 root 3 plus 5 root 2 upon 4 root 3 plus 3 root 2. Now you know what you have to do. You have to rationalize it with the opposite sign. Right? Now you will multiply 4 root 3 plus 5 root 2 with 4 root 3 minus 3 root 2. And here we have a square minus b square because it's a plus b, a minus b. Now let's multiply individual terms. And here we get 5 root 2 with the entire bracket. Now 4 root 3 ka square. That will be 48. 3 root 2 ka square. That is you are multiplying 3 root 2 with itself. So what will you get? 18. So 48 minus 18, which is nothing but 30. And let's multiply the terms in the numerator. Okay, so 4 for the 16. 16 into 3 minus 12 root 6 plus 20 root 6 minus 5 3s are 15 and 15 into 2. Now let's solve it. So first let's 48 minus 30, 18. Now 20 minus 12 is 8 root 6. Now is this the final answer? No. We can still take few factors common from the numerator and cancel it with the denominator. So let's take 2 common. So we get 9 plus 4 root 6 upon 30, which becomes 50. So this is our final answer. Correct? So this is how we have to be just careful with the calculations, otherwise the concept is very, very easy. Correct? Now let's move on to the next. Here we have 2 root 3 minus root 5 upon 2 root 2 plus 3 root 3. Now we will rationalize it with opposite sign again. So what we will get? We will get 2 root 2 plus 3 root 3. Right? Now we will rationalize it with minus. Correct? Now let's do the multiplication. Now your speed should be faster as you have already solved the questions, right? So now let's rationalize it. So 2 root 2 square minus 3 root 3 square, right? Now, so what will you get? 4 root 6. 3 to the 6, 6 3 is 18. Now 2 root 10 minus minus plus 3 root 15. So if you see, all are unlike terms. There is no like term here. So no simplification can be done. Now for the denominator, 2 root 2 into 2 root 2 square. Okay. We will get what? 8. 3 root 3 into 3 root 3. What will you get? 3 3s are 9, 9 3s are 27. So minus 27. So what will you get? 8 minus 27. That will make up to 19. So minus 19. 4 root 6 minus 18 minus 2 root 10 plus 3 root 15. Now this minus will go up, correct? So we can take this sign here to the standard form. So that will change the sign of all the terms in the numerator. So this will be our final answer. We just have to be confident on our calculation so that we can write our answers clearly, right? So do not mismatch the plus minus signs. Now let's take the next question. Now it has two terms. So it's very, very important. Now for this question, this particular question, I'll tell you a very different way. Now just by looking at the question, what can you see? If I multiply, or that is what we say, simple words, LCM. If I take LCM of the denominators, what will I get? I will get the formula of a plus b, a minus b, right? So let's put it. So no need to rationalize after that, because I will simply get a plus b, a minus b here. So it will become a square minus b square, right? So here what will you get? If you cross it, square. Here also what will you get? Root 5 minus root 3 the whole square. So a plus b whole square, if I apply, I get 5 plus 3 plus 2 root 15. Here what will you get? 5 plus 3 minus 2 root 15. And in the denominator you get root 5 square minus root 3 square. So 8 plus 8 is 16. This cancels out, upon 5 minus 3 is 2. So that is 8. So it's a very simple question. No need to rationalize the individual terms, because in this particular case you are getting a plus b, a minus b in the denominator by taking the LCM. If it would not have been the case, then we will need to rationalize. Okay. Now let's move on to the next. Now see this case. Now there are three numbers in addition. Here we have to rationalize the individual terms. Do not take the LCM directly. That will create a problem for you. So now we have to rationalize the individual terms, and then we are going to add them. So the first one we will rationalize with 2 minus root 3. Then for the next one, we are going to rationalize with root 5 plus root 3. And for the last term, we are going to rationalize with 2 plus root 5. Correct? Now, let's move on. So 2 minus root 3, 4 minus 3. Root 5 plus root 3, here we get 5 minus 3. Then here 2 plus root 5, and here we get 4 minus 5. Now let's work out. 2 minus root 3, 4 minus 3 is 1. 2. Do not multiply inside, students, because 5 minus 3 is 2, so we cancel it out. Root 3. Okay, let's make it clear. Now here 4 minus 5 is 1, so I am taking that minus 1. So in the bracket, okay. So minus 2 plus 5. So there is no term in the denominator. Now let's open the brackets. Now let's cancel out. So what's your final answer? Root 3 minus root 5. So that is why what I said कि आप आराम से confidence के साथ करिए. There is no difficulty in solving the questions. Okay, now let's take another question. Now again you have 3. So what will you do? We will rationalize it individually. Okay, now let's take up the next. So root 5 in plus root 3. So you will rationalize it with root 5 minus root 3. Now the other one you will rationalize it with root 3 minus root 2. Right? The next one you will rationalize it with root 5 minus root 2. Correct? Now let's do it. So what will you get here? 2 with root 5 minus root 3, and in the denominator you get a plus b, a minus b, so you get 5 minus 3, which is 2. 2 cancels out. Now here root 3 minus root 2, in the denominator you get 3 minus 2, which is 1. Now here 3 into 5 minus root 2. So again 5 minus 2, which is 3, it cancels out. So again here you see there is no term in the denominator. Just open the brackets. Please be careful with the minus sign. Minus minus plus will come here. So this cancels out, this cancels out, this cancels out. So answer is 0. This can come as an MCQ also. So you have to be very careful what we are getting. So simply we have to solve it and we can get our answer. Right? So let's move on to the next. Now this is a simple question given in the book. 1 upon 3 plus root 2. So that will be again rationalized with 3 minus root 2. This all can come as an MCQ, students. So be careful that you have to be clear with the concepts. So 3 minus root 2 upon 9 minus 2. So you get the answer 3 minus root 2 upon 7. Right? So that's a simple question. Now let's move on to the next. Now 1 upon root 6 minus root 5. So they ask you a question in the MCQ that what is rationalizing factor. Just see this word. Rationalizing factor. Rationalizing factor is the set of terms which you multiply with which you multiply and divide. So here the rationalizing factor is what? Root 6 plus root 5. So your rationalizing factor for this question is root 6 plus root 5. Now let's see it. So root 6 plus root 5 in the numerator and 6 minus 5 in the denominator. So your answer is this. Okay. Now let's move on to the next. 16 upon root 41 minus 5. That's again very easy question. These all are meant for MCQs or maximum to 2 marks. That's it. So you rationalize it with opposite sign. So root 41 plus 5. So 16. Do not multiply it inside because 45 1 we will get here and 25 here, which makes 16. So 16 cancels out and you get only root 41 plus 5. That's your answer. Right? Now 30 upon 5 root 3 minus 3 root 5. So by which number will you rationalize or what is the rationalizing factor? So 5 root 3 plus 3 root 5 we will take for the rationalizing factor. So 30 into this. Right? So what is 5 root 3 whole square? Minus 3 root 5 whole square. That we have to check. So otherwise we get here 130 root 3. Let's not do this first. Let's make it outside because if anything is common, we can cancel it right away. We don't have to take it common again and again. 5 root 3 will be how much? 25 into 3, that is 75. And 3 3s are 9, 9 5s are 45. So 30. So 30 into 30 cancels out. So your final answer is only 5 root 3 plus 3 root 5. So this is how they frame the simple questions for you. Now the next. 1 upon 2 root 5 minus root 3. So let's rationalize it. What will be the rationalizing factor? 2 root 5 plus root 3. Right? So let's make it. So 2 root 5 plus root 3 upon 2 root 5 square minus root 3 square. So 2 root 5 plus root 3. So 20 minus 3 is 17. That's our answer. So just be confident and mark the options. Now root 3 plus 1 upon 2 root 2 minus root 3. So what will be our rationalizing factor? 2 root 2 plus root 3. Right? Now let's multiply it. Root 3 with the entire term and 1 with the entire term. Right? Now 2 root 2 square minus root 3 square. Now let's do it. 2 root 6 plus 3 plus 2 root 2 plus root 3. Again there is no like term in the numerator. So 8 minus 3 is 5. So this will be your final answer. No common, no like terms. So no like terms, so we don't have to add anything. Okay, that's it. Now 6 minus 4 root 2 upon 6 plus 4 root 2. So you will rationalize it with opposite sign again. So 6 minus 4 root 2 for rationalization. So what will you get here? 6 minus 4 root 2 whole square. Now here you get 6 square minus 4 root 2 square. So 36 minus 2ab plus 4 root 2 square. So here what will you get? 36 minus 4 4 is 16. 16 into 2 is 32. So you get a very good number, simple number 4. Now 36 minus 48 root 2 plus again you get 32 here. So you get 4 minus 48 root 2. Now this is important. See, we can take 4 common. We cannot cut 4 like this. We can take 4 common and then 12 here. Let's make it more clearer. Right. And 4. So it cancels out. So 1 minus 12 root 2 is the answer. Correct? This is how do we solve it. Now we have here 3 root 2 plus 1 upon 2 root 5 minus 3. Correct? Now we will rationalize it with 2 root 5 plus 3, which will be the rationalizing factor for the given expression. So 3 root 2, 2 root 5 plus 3 plus 1, 2 root 5 plus 3. So here we have 2 root 5 square minus 3 square. So what will you get here? 6 root 10 plus 9 root 2 minus 2 root 5. Now plus is plus. Okay. So now plus 3. So 2 root 5 per square will be 20 minus 9. That is 11. So again, nothing to be taken common. Leave your answer and get your marks. Okay. So that will be 11. Clear? These are the few questions based on rationalization, and if you do these many questions, definitely you will be able to attempt the question of rationalization in exam with confidence. Correct? Now let's see variables now. Now these type of questions are again important nowadays, right? So now we have to follow the same concept here. Root a square plus b square minus a. Just do not change the sign of the plus inside the root. That is one term only, students. Do not change the sign. We will change the sign in between the terms. Okay. So now a square plus b square minus a. Do not multiply. Let's see what we get after applying the identity here. Okay. Do not multiply. Now here we get a square plus b square minus a square. So b square cancels out. So this is your answer. So be confident and move ahead. That is what we say always for the maths, and practice makes you that. Clear to all? If you have understood the concept, if you have understood it well, so please like, share and subscribe. Clear? Thank you everyone.